I remember the day I became a skin picker. More specifically, the first time I picked at a scab. It was during our national anthem. With nothing to do, I started to inspect my arms. At first, I just picked at a dried up mosquito bite. But then, I moved on to my face and my chest. I looked for any blisters, scabs, or ingrown hairs to pick. Those were my favorite to pull off. It was so satisfying that I couldn't help but pick and pick. It made me feel so calm that before I knew it, I did it every day. It wasn't something that I did sometimes. I had to do it every day. My hands would twitch, and the need to pop was all I could think about. I would hide away whenever I got a chance, search for a stray bump that may pop, hunting my skin like a lioness searching for prey. My urges got really bad when I started my 3rd year of school. I didn't have many friends, and I was feeling so stressed all the time. Each pop was the only thing that could bring me relief, a moment of clarity. Sometimes, even as I'd pick, I'd try to tell myself I needed to stop, that I was a monster. But I never stopped. I couldn't. Before I knew it, I was covered in deep scabs all over my body and face, looking like I had been mauled by an animal. At school, I was constantly asked by my classmates what was wrong with my skin. Some kids even picked on me, saying that I was contagious. I felt so ashamed of my body that I started to wear oversized shirts, pants, because I didn't want anyone to see my skin. I even avoided playing sports or putting my hand up at school. I had no one to turn to. I tried to remind myself many times that I couldn't keep picking, that I was just hurting myself. My parents made it worse because they didn't understand either. They would yell at me, saying how I was ruining my skin. I tried many times to stop my urges. I wrote letters to remind myself to stop. I even made a schedule to record which days I resisted picking, and my parents would give me money as a way to try to stop me as well. But nothing helped. The urges would be so strong that I would even do it in my sleep, waking up horrified by the bleeding blotches covering my body. I picked and picked until there was nothing but wounds all over my body. It would be so scabby and painful that sometimes my skin would bleed randomly through my clothes. It was a vicious cycle, but I couldn't stop, no matter how hard I tried. I hated myself and felt ashamed of how I was treating my body. Sometimes, the pain would become so excruciating that I felt like I was dying. These scabs became so deep and so painful that I couldn't endure it anymore. I needed to do anything to stop hurting myself over and over again. I became so desperate for help that I went onto Google and searched up my urges. I found out that I suffered from a condition called dermatillomania, otherwise known as a skin-picking disorder. Dermatillomania is a psychiatric disorder and is one of the main subsets of an OCD. Symptoms are normally triggered when feeling stressed, and when you peel, pop, or rip a scab or hair, it causes a feeling of relief. But the relief doesn't last long, and you feel like you have to do it again. The main treatment for this disorder is with counseling and self-management. After reading online, I know now that I am not alone. According to the International OCD Foundation, dermatillomania affects around 1 in 20 people, with a high percentage being female and teens. We try to hide it by covering up with clothes or using cosmetics as a way to deal with the shame of our urges. But this disorder can have a bad impact on our mental health, as many people feel an immense sense of sadness and shamefulness after picking. Some people spend many hours trying to cover up their bodies with makeup, wearing long stockings, or wearing high-knee boots. Now knowing that I was no longer alone in my urges, that my issues were real, I was able to find a support group on Facebook. For the first time in 6 years, I felt like I wasn't alone in this battle anymore. Everyone on the Facebook group shared their story and was always sending words of encouragement to each other when someone felt down. Sharing our stories made us feel better, like we could fight this disease together. I focused on doing other things to take my mind off picking, like knitting, meditating, or manicuring, as suggested by my doctor. She also encouraged me to wear clothes that showed more skin. Coming to terms with my disorder has been complicated, and there are some good days and bad. But I know that I am more than just my appearance and the scabs on my body. I am a daughter, a sister, and a friend. While dermatillomania will be a part of me for a while, I have learned to accept that this is my thing for now. And while I'm still not 100% able to stop myself from my urges, I'm getting better. I still have scars and wounds, but it's a part of me, and I have learned to love them because it has made me strong. Right now, I can say that I am slowly but surely getting better and will one day beat this compulsion.